Alright, hey guys, how's it going? My name is Aakash Singh. I welcome you to this channel जहाँ पर हम लोग देखेंगे CS made easy. Now we started with class 10th, right? हम लोगों ने class 10th में काफ़ी चीज़ें पढ़ी थी regarding computer applications. So in computer science for your class 11th, the topics are kind of similar, but हम लोग थोड़ा advanced level पे उनकी बातें करेंगे. Now this is the first session for this entire course, computer science. Now पहले if you remember, आपका जो course code था that was 065. I hope you remember this. This was just a couple of months ago. But in class 11, this has changed to now 083. And the name has also changed from computer applications to computer science. So आपका जो first unit है, which is computer systems and organization, this will be the first unit, about 10-15 marks का आपका unit आने वाला है. And this is the first session for this entire course. We will look at how computers are made of, what are the various kind of devices which are used with computers. एक जो CPU है उसके अंदर कौन कौन से आप devices यूज करते हो, कौन से उसके अंदर चिप्स होते हैं, कौन से मदरबोर्ड है, कौन सा उसके अंदर प्रोसेसर लगता है, आपको रैम का कितना ज़रूरत है अगर आपको एक गेमिंग पीसी डेवलप करना है. सो ऑल दीज थिंग्स विल बी कवर्ड इन दिस यूनिट विच इज़ कंप्यूटर सिस्टम्स एंड ऑर्गेनाइजेशन. एंड दिस इज़ योर लेक्चर 1, जहाँ पर हम लोग बेसिकली कवर करेंगे व्हाट इज़ मेमोरी, व्हाट इज़ कंप्यूटर मेमोरी. ठीक है. हेलो रिद्धि. ऑलराइट, थैंक यू फॉर द चेक. इट्स बीन अ लॉन्ग टाइम. एनीवेज, गुड इवनिंग तमन्ना. Alright, so before we start, a quick introduction for the people who do not know me. My name is Aakash Singh. I graduated as an engineer from IIT Bombay last year, and I'm currently working as a software engineer. Yes, I do coding for a coding firm in USA. Alright, at any point of time, if you want to solve your doubts, you can join the Telegram group. The link for the group has been shared in the bio of this video. And you can also comment under any of my videos. I'll be happily be ready to reply to those to solve any of your doubts. Okay, so let's just see what are the things we are going to cover in today's session. This is CS 083 for class 11th. Now the first part is quite common. It is common knowledge. If you're from IT, if you're from CS, अगर आपने AI पढ़ा, you all might understand what is a CPU, what are the input devices and output devices. But we will have a look at them in a in-depth manner in today's session. And at the second part, we will understand what a computer memory is. अगर आप किसी भी probably अगर आप Amazon पे देखते हो, there are various kind of laptops, right? So एक high-end laptop को क्या differentiate करता है is the memory types, the kind of memory it has. Probably हो सकता है not only memory, but this is one of the most differentiating factors. जैसे अगर आप देखोगे 4 GB RAM versus about 16 GB RAM laptop, which one be faster? So you already know the answer with the higher memory. ठीक है. I hope my voice is audible. And over computer memory we will look at the various types. एक read only memory होती है, एक rewritable memory होती है, and the units of those. ठीक है, so now you know what we are going to cover in this session. Let's begin with the theory part. Hello Baron. So all of you might understand, all of you might have a few devices in your hands. आपके पास मोबाइल होता है, आपने कभी मोबाइल देखा होगा, ऑब्वियसली आपने लैपटॉप्स देखे होंगे, डेस्कटॉप कंप्यूटर्स देखे होंगे. So how do you define a computer? First of all, we know that it's an electronic device. It does some sort of computation. आप उसमें सॉफ्टवेयर डाउनलोड कर सकते हो, आप उसमें एक्सेल डाउनलोड कर सकते हो, कैलकुलेशंस कर सकते हो. यू कैन ऑल्सो प्ले गेम्स, यू कैन एडिट वीडियोज, यू कैन पब्लिश ऑन यूट्यूब, राइट? सो व्हाट इज अ बेसिक डेफिनेशन ऑफ अ कंप्यूटर इज दैट इट्स एन इलेक्ट्रॉनिक डिवाइस. इट इज़ नॉट इलेक्ट्रिकल, इट इज़ इलेक्ट्रॉनिक डिवाइस, जहाँ पर आप डेटा को प्रोसेस कर सकते हो और इंफॉर्मेशन स्टोर कर सकते हो. इन वेरी सिंपल टर्म्स, it's just an electronic device which is used for computations. That is why it is simply known as a computer, right? So these are the various kind of examples of computers. Now let's see what are the various parts of a computer. We all know that human body has brain, human body has limbs, human body has various kind of organs. Similarly, a computer system also has various parts. जैसे आप मॉनिटर में चीज़ें देख सकते हो, आप वेबकैम से अपने वीडियो शूट कर सकते हो. अगर आपको माउस यूज़ करना है, यू आर पुटिंग एन इनपुट डिवाइस. सो देर आर 3 parts of a computer. The first is input, how you provide information to the computer. हो सकता है आप माउस से इनपुट कर रहे हो सकता है कीबोर्ड से, या फिर हो सकता है माइक्रोफोन से. Second part, and it is the most important part, also known as the brain of a computer, it is called central processing unit. And the third one is the output device. Again, fairly simple. Output device can be your monitor, it can be your speaker. Okay, so now in this, the most important thing would be the central processing unit. The central processing unit is again divided into three parts. Yes, Tamanna, keyboard. Okay. The CPU is made of three components. Now, if we remove the input devices, if we remove the output device, तो आपका क्या एक चीज जो बचेगी? That is the CPU. Now, this CPU is divided into three more components. एक होता है arithmetic logic unit. Now, this is where all the processing happens. जहां पर आपके सब calculations होते हैं, right? यहाँ पर आपका जो कंप्यूटर है, it starts thinking. The second part is the memory unit which stores data. Right? Now data can be of different types. हो सकता है audio data है, हो सकता है video data है, textual data है, and it can also be of types कि आपका अगर PC restart हो गया, some of the data will be deleted. So memory unit stores temporary data as well as the permanent data. And the third one is control unit, which controls all these devices together, all these parts together. Okay, so let's have a look at the basic diagram of a CPU. Central because it controls everything inside a computer. Processing because all the process happen inside this. And unit because it's a box. राइट इसके अंदर बहुत सारी छोटी छोटी चीजें होती है जो आप कलेक्ट करके एक बॉक्स के अंदर रखते हो, एंड दैट बॉक्स इज नोन एज अ यूनिट. राइट, सो वी ऑलरेडी कवर्ड व्हाट इनपुट डिवाइसेस आर. आई डोंट नीड टू एक्सप्लेन यू अगेन सिंस यू आर इन द क्लास 11th व्हाट इनपुट डिवाइसेस मीन, एंड same thing goes for the output devices. I don't have to explain to you what an output device is. Okay, why doesn't CPU come under output devices? All right, so Tamanna, let me ask you this question. You have a phone, right? Can anyone answer the question, what is the input device here and what is the output device of a phone? अगर आपके पास probably iPhone है, या फिर अगर आपके पास कोई Samsung का फोन है, अगर आपके पास any other phone, OnePlus का फोन है, I would like to ask you what is the input device there and what is the output device? If you can answer me. So Tamanna, CPU is not an output device because only the processes happen inside. You cannot see what's happening inside a CPU, right? Everything is a calculation which is eventually displayed in a monitor. So monitor को हम लोग output device बोलेंगे, CPU को नहीं बोलेंगे. ठीक है. So this is a basic CPU का diagram. As we were discussing what happens inside a computer, you give an input to the PC. For example, you're typing something using a keyboard. Keyboard registers आपने कौन सी keys press की हैं. That information is converted into electronic signals and आपके PC के through forward करते हैं उसको. जैसे ही आपने कीबोर्ड पे कोई भी की प्रेस की, the computer starts to think, and where this thinking happens, it happens inside the CPU. CPU के अंदर ये thinking होती है with the help of software. For example, अगर आप Microsoft Word यूज कर रहे हो and you are typing something. For example, अगर आपने YouTube खोला है and you want to comment something. So जब आप कमेंट करते हो, at that point your keyboard is registering the keys and आपका YouTube जो है it is processing कि आपने क्या प्रेस किया है. ठीक है. The third part is the output. The most common type of output is a monitor. ठीक है. And the fourth part is the storage. Storage हम लोगों ने देखा होगा USB drives, hard drives. If you go a few years before, you can also look at CD-ROMs, DVD-ROMs. So these were disks जहाँ पर आप data store कर सकते हो. So these all are basically nothing but storage devices. Currently आपके पास SSD devices हैं. SSD कहाँ use होता है? आपके mobile devices में. आपके मोबाइल फोन्स हो गए, आपके कैलकुलेटर्स हो गए. अरुण ठाकुर इज आस्किंग विच सॉफ्टवेयर डू यूज टू टीच अस. आई यूज Microsoft PowerPoint. All right. So this was just a basic introduction of your computer system. Now you know there is an input device, there is an output device, and in the middle you have a CPU. So let me ask you this question. How do you think your laptops and phone work? Do they have the same things? हम लोगों ने पहले जो बात की, that was about a computer system. So do laptops or do phones have a similar structure? Maybe you can answer in the chat. The answer is yes. All of your laptops, all of your phones, and even your calculators. आपके छोटा सा छोटा calculator is a computer. Why? Because it also takes an input, it processes something, and there's an output. Okay, so the first part is the input, which we have already covered. हम लोग को output भी पता है क्या होता है. What we will focus now is on memory. Right? The first thing which we focus on today is memory. ये memory क्या होता है? What do you understand by memory? So if you want to store a PC game, right? अगर आपके friend को कोई PC game देनी है, earlier क्या होता था, आप CD devices use करते थे, and little later आप USB devices use करने पड़े, and later on we start using online cloud computing, right? जैसे आपका Google Drive हो गया, आप यहाँ पर अपनी सारी मूवी स्टोर कर सकते हो, अपना सॉन्ग स्टोर कर सकते हो. You can also store various kind of data. So this is called a memory where you can store something. ठीक है? So where is this memory present? It is again present in the CPU. So let me tell you a few facts about the CPU. It is called the brain of the computer. Now we have studied this in the 4th standard or 5th standard because all the processing happens there. So computer को कभी भी आप let's say if you are playing a game like GTA, or maybe if you are working on MS Word. So these are applications which cannot work without a CPU. क्योंकि CPU के पास वो instructions होते हैं. CPU has the algorithms inside which tells these applications how to perform. Without a CPU, without the processing power, they cannot work. A simple example is a human body without a brain. Will it start to function or not? You cannot move your hands, you cannot move your legs, you cannot even process what you're seeing if your brain is not functioning properly. Same is the thing with the CPU. जो भी आप input देते हो, that eventually starts processing inside the brain of the computer, which is a CPU. Also one more fact, अगर आपको अपना CPU ज़्यादा fast करना है, there is something known as a processor. We will cover processors in the next session, but I hope you have heard about the terms i3 processor, i5, i7, and so on. The latest generation processors give your computer a faster processing speed so that जो उसके task हैं वो बहुत जल्दी complete हो सके. Okay? So that was about the central processing unit. We already covered input as well as the output. Now let's have a look at computer memory. Right, you have heard about the terms MB क्या होता है? 4 MB is almost one song, right? 1 GB is almost equal to one movie. There are also other terms such as KB, which is kilobytes, just bytes. आपके MB we have already covered. ठीक है? So in order to explain what a computer memory is, let's take an example of a human brain. So we all know you all finished with your exams a couple of days ago. So आपने बहुत सारी चीजें याद की होंगी. Where are all those things stored? They are stored inside the memory of your brain. Human beings go through a lot of processes. They go through lifetime experiences. Sorry for the notification. Right? Humans, हम लोग दिन भर में बहुत सारी चीजें देखते हैं, हम लोग बहुत सारी चीजें करते हैं. But our brain starts to store those things so that we can make a decision sooner or later. But we also have different kinds of memories, such as I can divide this into two parts. A very old memory which you can remember at any point of day. It is a very old memory, and a very recent memory. For example, if you want to go and eat some food, you want to make Maggie, right? So you want to remember where you kept the Maggie ka packet, right? So all these memories are known as recent memories. ठीक है. सो दिस टाइप ऑफ मेमोरी इज अ परमानेंट मेमोरी. ऑल द इंपॉर्टेंट डेटा, जैसे हम लोग नोटबुक्स में लिखते हैं, हम लोग मैनुअल्स लिखते हैं, हम लोग कोई भी चीज़ रिटन डॉक्यूमेंट में लिखते हैं, दैट इज काइंड ऑफ एन इंपॉर्टेंट डेटा फॉर अस. सो दैट इज अ परमानेंट मेमोरी. So now computer memory is divided into two parts. One is a primary memory and the second is secondary memory. So we all know that computer needs some kind of memory to store all the data which has inside it. So let's talk about RAM first. RAM कौन सी type of memory होता है? It is a primary memory. Why it is known as a primary memory? Because कंप्यूटर के पास जो मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट एप्लीकेशन और सॉफ्टवेयर है वो इसके अंदर काम करते हैं. सो लेट्स से इफ यू आर स्टार्टिंग टू यूज गूगल क्रोम, राइट, आप क्रोम यूज कर रहे हो, एंड सिमिलरली इफ यू आर यूजिंग क्रोम ऑन अ लेसर मेमोरी, तो आपका जो क्रोम है वो थोड़ा स्लो हो जाएगा. आप जब टैब्स ओपन करोगे दैट विल बी काइंड ऑफ स्लो. बट अगर आप क्रोम एक ज़्यादा मेमोरी वाले डिवाइस में यूज़ करोगे, इट विल बी काइंड ऑफ फास्टर. आप मल्टीपल टैब्स खोल सकते हो, आपका जो पीसी है वो स्लो नहीं होगा. Similarly, if you are playing a game, for example, if you might know what game this is your GTA 5 and this is your GTA Vice City. All right, so these were released about 10 or 15 years in gap. This was released in about 2015 and this was released around 2005. So now if you look at the quality of the graphics, they are quite different. This almost looks realistic, राइट, बट यहाँ पर क्या है, आपको स्ट्रेट लाइंस दिख रही हैं. बेसिकली इसका जो प्रोसेसिंग पावर है इस गेम का वो ज़्यादा नहीं है. सो दिस इज द एग्जैक्ट सेम डिफरेंस बिटवीन द मशीन्स एज वेल. द बेटर मशीन यू हैव, द मोर रैम यू हैव, आपका जो कंप्यूटर है वो ज़्यादा सोच सकता है एंड इवेंचुअली इट कैन प्रोड्यूस बेटर ग्राफिक्स. सो दिस इज 16 GB and this is 4 GB. All right. So this is the basic difference between different kind of RAMs. So RAM का definition क्या होता है? आपकी PC को दिन भर कोई ना कोई काम करना पड़ता है. Let's say if you're, let's take an example of Google Chrome. The first step is you open Google Chrome, right? ये open करने के लिए आपके memory storage से open होगा. Memory storage generally it is in your C drive. राइट, सी ड्राइव से ओपन किधर हुआ? इट ओपन्स इनसाइड द रैम. सो रैम इज अ टेम्परेरी प्लेस. इट इज अ टेम्परेरी प्लेस जहां पर आपका जो क्रोम है ये रन हो रहा है. इट डजंट डायरेक्टली रन फ्रॉम जहां पर आपने ये इंस्टॉल किया, इट स्टार्ट्स रनिंग इनसाइड योर रैम, राइट. सो इट इज बेसिकली यूज्ड इन योर एवरीडे टास्क. अगर आपको गूगल क्रोम साथ में चलाना है, आपको अपनी गेम साथ में चलानी है, या मे बी इफ यू वांट टू ओपन टास्क मैनेजर टुगेदर, ऑल दीज विल ओपन टुगेदर इनसाइड योर रैम विच इज नोन एज रैंडम एक्सेस मेमोरी. ठीक है, द मोर रैम यू हैव, आप उतने ही एप्लीकेशन साइमल्टेनियसली चला सकते हो. आपको वेट नहीं करना पड़ेगा कि दिस एप्लीकेशन ओपन्स लेटर ऑन, राइट. सो मोर रैम ऑल्सो अलाउज यू टू प्ले हाई एंड गेम्स. It also affects the speed at which the applications are switched. So अगर आपको Chrome और गेम के बीच में अगर स्विच करना है जल्दी, you need to have more random access memory. Again, just to remind you, it is a temporary memory. टेम्परेरी का मतलब है जैसे ही आपने अपना कंप्यूटर रीस्टार्ट किया, अपना लैपटॉप रीस्टार्ट किया, आपका जो भी कंटेंट्स है इसके, they will be deleted. Right, so this was a brief introduction about random access memory. There is another kind of memory known as read-only memory. So I do not know if you have played these kind of games, but this was a console, right? जैसे आजकल हमारे पास PS5 आता है, we have Xbox with us, we have various kind of Nintendo games, right? In the earlier days, we had a console like this which was connected to a TV, right? ये आप TV के साथ कनेक्ट करते थे. So what would happen there is you need to input the game. Now this game is kind of a chip which is known as a read only memory, right? So let's have a look at the read only memory and what is it. It is a very small kind of memory. जैसे हम लोग देख रहे थे हमारा जो RAM है, it can vary from 4 GB to 16 GB, but a read only memory is quite small in size. Small in size basically आपका 4 MB से लेके 64 MB तक हो सकता है. If you're confused in what MB is, what GB is, please wait for a few moments, we will discuss that as well. ठीक है. So read only memory क्या store करता है? It stores the data जो आप change नहीं करोगे. For example, inside this ROM there is a Mario game, right? Every time you want to play this game, you put it inside here and you start playing it. So why do we call it a read only memory? Is because आप इसको change नहीं कर सकते हो. It is a permanent memory, right? You cannot change this. So this is the difference between RAM and ROM. कि RAM जो है आपका temporary होता है. आप after every restart आपका जो RAM है वो delete हो जाता है. But for a read only memory you can play it infinite times, but the contents will still remain the same. So now what we saw was memory is divided into two parts. One is the primary memory and the second is secondary memory. So primary memory में हम लोगों ने देखा कि आपका कंप्यूटर एक्सेस जब कोई करता है, probably applications, आपके सॉफ्टवेयर्स, आपकी जो गेम्स हैं, कंप्यूटर को वो सब चीज़ें चलाने के लिए प्राइमरी मेमोरी की ज़रूरत है. बट जहाँ पर ये सब चीज़ स्टोर होती है, फॉर एग्जाम्पल इफ़ यू आर स्टोरिंग म्यूजिक, if you're storing videos, if you're storing your PDF notes, so all these are stored inside the secondary memory. So every time you restart your PC, the RAM is deleted but the ROM is not, and your secondary memory is called a permanent memory. So it might be confusing at first, but I understand that you might have studied this before. ठीक है? Secondary memory is nothing but the storage devices. The kind of storage devices that you have are hard drive, this is portable hard drive. Now portable hard drive is something which you can carry everywhere, right? This is known as a CD, this is known as an SD card जो आपके generally mobile devices में use होता है. These are kind of an older generation's secondary memories. This is a cassette. This is a floppy. And this is a USB drive. All right. So ये जो चीज़ें हैं आपका चीज़ें store करने में use होती हैं. There is one more type of memory, but we won't be discussing in today's session. Right? हम लोग बात कर रहे थे CPU के बारे में. सो CPU को जो मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट चीज़ लेनी होती है, फॉर एग्जाम्पल इफ़ यू आर स्टार्टिंग टू रन क्रोम, राइट, सबसे पहले सेकेंडरी मेमोरी से क्रोम जाएगा प्राइमरी मेमोरी में. यहाँ पर क्रोम का थोड़ा पार्ट आ जाएगा, क्रोम विल स्टार्ट रनिंग एंड देन योर CPU कैन डायरेक्टली एक्सेस क्रोम एंड ऑल द प्रोसेसेस विल बी रनिंग इनसाइड द CPU. कैश मेमोरी इज अ मोर वॉलेटाइल मेमोरी एज कंपेयर टू प्राइमरी मेमोरी. विल बी कवर्ड इन द नेक्स्ट सेशन. हेलो Bassam, how are you? So I hope you have computer science as a subject, or is it IP? Right. So till now what we have covered is what input devices are, what output devices are. हम लोगों ने secondary storage भी देखा, हम लोगों ने memory भी देखा. We had a brief idea about the central processing unit. Right. So now we know why memory is used. अगर आपको कोई टेम्परेरी फाइल्स यूज़ करनी है या फिर अगर आपको कोई परमानेंट स्टोरेज चाहिए, दीज थिंग्स आर स्टोर्ड इनसाइड योर मेमोरी. आपका जो CPU है, इट इज़ अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट पार्ट फॉर द CPU. सर, इज SSD a permanent storage device? Yes, Incarnate, SSD is a permanent storage device. अगर आपने वहां पर कोई चीज स्टोर कर दी एंड आपने अपना डिवाइस रीस्टार्ट कर दिया, सो योर SSD विल स्टिल हैव द सेम कंटेंट्स, उसके जो कंटेंट्स हैं वो चेंज नहीं होंगे. Okay, so now let's look at the units. What is 4 GB? What is 8 GB? What is 4 MB? What is 10 KB? What are all those things? So in order to understand the units of computer memory, we need to understand that all electronic devices use only two digits, which is 1 and 0. So इनका basic मतलब क्या होता है? This means off and this means on. If you need a bit more context on that, you can take an example of a switch, right? A switch is an electronic device. It has only two states. Either आप switch को on कर सकते हो या फिर आप इसको off कर सकते हो. So in electronic devices, this on is represented by 1 and this off is represented by 0. ठीक है, सो हम लोग को पता चल गया, यस नाउ कंप्यूटर कैन अंडरस्टैंड ओनली वंस एंड ओनली जीरोस. सो दीज वंस एंड जीरोस आर कॉल्ड बिट्स. ठीक है, ये दोनों मिला के हम लोग इनको बिट्स बोलते हैं. सो लेट्स से इफ आई एम राइटिंग अ वर्ड लाइक दिस, अगर मैंने लिखा है 1001 या फिर मैंने लिखा है 1010 और प्रॉब्ली 0010 और मे बी समथिंग एल्स लाइक 1111 या फिर 0000. So these are collection of 4 bits, right? How 4? This is 1 bit, this is 1 bit, 1 bit, 1 bit. Similarly, this is 1 bit, 1 bit, 1 bit and 1 bit. ठीक है, bit की वैल्यू 1 और 0 हो सकती है, बट इनका जो स्टोरेज है that is 1 bit. ठीक है, a 4-bit word is called a nibble. Now this is a very small storage memory, storage unit, but हम लोग बाइट्स डिस्कस करेंगे, दैट इज अ 8-bit वर्ड. सो नाउ व्हाट आर द वेरियस थिंग्स कैन यू स्टोर यूजिंग दिस? सो प्रोबेबली इफ यू लुक एट दिस इन डेसिमल फॉर्म, दिस विल लुक लाइक अ सिंपल डिजिट. या अगर आप 2 स्टोर कर सकते हो, 3 स्टोर कर सकते हो, 4 स्टोर कर सकते हो, बट दिस इज व्हाट humans can read. Computer will not be able to read 2, 3 or 4. That is why this data is converted into binary format and it is stored something like this. ठीक है, so now we know that 4-bit means a nibble and 8-bit means a byte. What is the relation between bits and bytes? Right, so bits and bytes में ये relation है कि आपका this is all right, just a moment guys, some issue with the pen. All right, let's see if it works now. All right, sorry for that. Please put a thumbs up if you can see me on your screens, if you're able to see this mark. Right, so the question was, what is the relation between bits and bytes? So now 1 byte is equal to 8 bits. That is how we define 1 byte. ठीक है, जनरली क्या होता है, हम लोग बोलते हैं कि एक वर्ड, इफ आई एम राइटिंग समथिंग लाइक बॉय और इफ आई एम राइटिंग समथिंग लाइक girl or maybe football, these alphabets or these words can be stored in about 2 or 3 bytes. ठीक है, so now the basic unit is bit, but हम लोग धीरे धीरे मल्टीपल्स देखेंगे इसकी. 8-bit is known as a byte, right? हम लोगों ने bit देखा, byte देखा, and then after that we come to kilobyte. Now 1 kilobyte is equal to 1024 bytes. So this is how we define it. Every time you want to go to the next level of the unit, you multiply by 1024. If I want to write 1024 kilobytes, right? So I will be writing it as 1 MB. It is known as 1 megabyte. So again, if I write 1024 megabytes, it will be written as 1 GB. It is known as 1 gigabyte. And similarly, अगर आपको terabyte लिखना है, it is the 1024 times of the previous unit. Now let me again give you an example. ये storage space कितनी होती है? Your text files are almost 5 KB. अगर आपने probably 1000 words लिखे हैं, that is about 5 KBs. If you want to store about 60 minutes of HD video, that will be stored inside 1 GB, and in 1 terabyte you can store thousands of videos, right? So these are the basic memory units जो हम लोग use करते हैं. So probably if you come across something 16 GB storage, you would automatically understand that it is more than 16 KB and it is less than 16 TB, right? So now if you want to check your RAM or random access memory, it is a physical device. Your RAM is a physical device and you cannot change the RAM. अगर आपको अपने PC या फिर अपने डिवाइस का RAM चेंज करना है, आपको एक चिप लाके एक्स्ट्रा उसमें ऐड करना पड़ेगा. So you can check your RAM going to control panel, systems and security, and over there अगर आप system information check करोगे, you will be able to see it. Like this is 16 GB RAM. Good evening random guy. I don't think in India it's afternoon. Anyways, so this is how you can check your RAM. So let me ask you a question. Is this possible? Will you be able to download a RAM? If you come across any advertisement which tells you you can increase your RAM from 4 GB to 8 GB, will you be able to do that? Hello Prakhyat. So can you answer the question, is this thing possible? I'm waiting for an answer because the answer is no. You cannot download RAM from the internet or any other place. A RAM is a hardware, which means अगर आपको अपना PC fast करना है तो आपको ये जाके खरीदना ही पड़ेगा. Right, we can't download. Exactly. Okay, so what we studied today was, let us do a recap. So all the processes, जो भी आपकी thinking है, जो भी computations होता है, जो भी calculations होता है, that happens inside the CPU. So let me give you an example. Everyone has seen the calculator app on PC. I hope you have seen it on the PC. So what are the various steps? So for example, if I want to do 2 plus 2, we all know it's 4, but I want to do it on the calculator software inside a computer. So the first step is we open the app, right? As soon as you open the calculator app, it opens. यहाँ पर आपकी calculator app stored है. यहाँ से जो आपकी app है वो जाएगी RAM में, right? Then you type in 2 plus 2, right? This is done using keyboard, obviously. And as soon as you press enter, ये जो 2 plus 2 data है, that goes from here to your CPU. Cache is not used for this purpose. You can just ignore this part for now. But this 2 plus 2 directly goes inside your CPU, जहाँ पर ये सब processes होते हैं, and then eventually it sends back the data to the RAM, and then this displays in an output device. So I hope you have a basic understanding. हम लोग ये सब चीज़ें more detailed manner में cover करेंगे in the upcoming sessions, but I hope you understood how a basic computer works. Yes, Incarnate, I will also do generation of computers, but not in this session. In the next session, we will look at processors. What processors are? अगर आपने देखा होगा, what is Core i3? It is a fast processor. But अगर आपको gaming करनी है, आपको video editing करनी है, then you have to go for i5. Now these are all Intel. The company is Intel, but अगर आपको दूसरी कंपनी के प्रोसेसर्स लेने हैं, that is AMD. So we will look at कि प्रोसेसर एक्चुअली क्या होता है. आपके पास जितना लेटेस्ट प्रोसेसर है उतनी कैलकुलेशंस आपकी फास्ट होती हैं, राइट? We will also look at कि आपका जो डेटा है, जो आपकी ऑडियो फाइल्स हैं, आपका जो वीडियो फाइल्स हैं, आपके जो सॉफ्टवेयर है, how are they stored inside the memory of a computer. All right, so this all will be covered in the next session. This is a brief of what we did today. This will also be covered in the next session now. All right, so if you have any doubts, you can ask me now. If not, please do not forget to like this video, right? You can also comment your doubts under this video, and please also you can subscribe to the channel if you have any of these courses: CS 083, IP 065, AI 417. All right, so this is for class 10th, and if you have any plans of taking on AI for class 11th, the videos will come out soon on this channel. All right, so thank you for attending this. I'll be seeing you in the next one. Till then, stay awesome. Bye bye.